Here's a statement that could reshape the entire future of European security. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky just revealed that thousands of international troops might soon be stationed on Ukrainian soil. But not everyone's happy about it. During a Friday meeting in the western Ukrainian city of Uzhhorod, Zelensky dropped this bombshell while discussing the ambitious security framework that 26 nations have committed to providing Ukraine once the current conflict with Russia concludes. But here's where it gets controversial. The exact nature of this deployment remains deliberately vague, and that ambiguity might be intentional. We're talking about thousands here, not just a handful of personnel. Zelensky emphasized when pressed by journalists about the scale of this potential international presence. The Ukrainian leader was meeting with European Council President Antonio Costa to hammer out crucial details about Ukraine's path toward European Union membership, a goal Kyiv views as absolutely essential for both its long-term security and post-war reconstruction efforts. French President Emmanuel Macron had announced just a day earlier that this coalition of 26 countries was prepared to establish what he described as a comprehensive security umbrella for Ukraine. This would include international forces operating on land, at sea, and in the air. However, and this is the part most people miss, Macron later walked back some of his initial statements, clarifying that while some nations would indeed deploy personnel to Ukrainian territory, others would provide security guarantees from outside Ukraine's borders, potentially through training programs and equipment supplies for Ukrainian forces. But Vladimir Putin wasn't having any of it. The Russian president issued a stark warning on Friday, declaring that any Western military personnel deployed to Ukraine would become legitimate targets for Russian forces to attack. This threat raises a critical question that nobody seems eager to answer publicly. Are these 26 nations truly prepared for the possibility of direct military confrontation with Russia? Meanwhile, this threat raises a critical question that nobody seems eager to answer publicly. Are these 26 nations truly prepared for the possibility of direct military confrontation with Russia? Meanwhile, Zelensky's diplomatic marathon continued with a scheduled meeting with Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, and this encounter promises to be particularly tense. The discussion was expected to center around Ukraine's plan to phase out Russian oil deliveries, a move that has Slovakia deeply concerned. Why? Because Slovakia depends heavily on Russian crude oil flowing through the Druzhba pipeline system, the very infrastructure that Ukrainian drones have repeatedly targeted, causing supply disruptions that have infuriated officials in Bratislava. Here's where the political maneuvering gets really interesting. Fico had just met with Putin in Beijing earlier in the week and openly stated that Slovakia wants to normalize relations with Moscow. Talk about awkward timing for a meeting with Zelensky, who has been urging countries worldwide to stop purchasing Russian energy products to cut off Moscow's war funding. Adding fuel to this already complex fire, U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly pressured European leaders on Thursday to immediately halt their Russian oil purchases, according to White House sources. This creates a fascinating three-way tension: Ukraine pushing for energy boycotts, Slovakia desperately trying to maintain its oil supplies, and the United States demanding European compliance with energy sanctions. Deputy Energy Minister Roman Andorek confirmed from Copenhagen that the oil phase-out discussion was indeed on the agenda for the Zelensky-Fico meeting, setting up what could be one of the most diplomatically challenging conversations in recent memory. The bigger picture here reveals a fundamental question about Europe's future. Can a continent that still depends on Russian energy truly commit to defending Ukraine with thousands of troops? And more provocatively, are we witnessing the early stages of a permanent military presence that could fundamentally alter the balance of power in Eastern Europe? What do you think? Is this coalition of 26 nations genuinely prepared for the long-term commitment and potential risks that come with deploying thousands of troops to Ukraine? Or are we seeing political theater designed to appease Ukraine while avoiding real confrontation with Russia? Share your thoughts. This debate is far from over.